All right. Test.
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 People aren't really talking so much about right now is this past weekend the U.S. government had a hearing about UFOs. Very interesting. So they had three retired military veterans, testified in Congress as highly anticipated. This is from NPR news article. Testified in Congress's highly anticipated hearing on UFOs. Actually, this was Wednesday, not this weekend. Excuse me, last Wednesday.
That was on NPR?
Well, no, it was. This is just articles from NPR.
But
it was a congressional hearing.
Oh,
you could have watched it on C-SPAN. Like it was aired.
Yeah, it was there. Yeah,
I assume being on NPR, that was why Brian knew about it and nobody else was talking about it. Is because it was on
yeah, maybe. So one was a former Air Force intelligence officer who claimed the U.S. government operated a secret, multi-decade reverse engineering program of recovered vessels. He also said the U.S. has recovered non-human biologics from alleged crash sites. Now, he said he's not saying that it was aliens necessarily, but he had it on good authority that, in so many words,
they weren't human.
They was not human. And so the hearing was more of like, again, we're not really saying that let's prepare for alien beings per se. What I gathered from the articles was it was more of an understanding from a national security perspective, because what they're saying is some of the stuff that they observed or people have observed, reporting that they've observed, was the technology is just far beyond what they've seen some of these vessels, fly. Somebody reported that they saw a ship that kind of hovered down, didn't see any type of engines or turbines or anything. Exactly. Next thing you know, they didn't see it again until 60 miles later, and the speed of that would have been supersonic speed. And so it's just there's nothing we could do about that. If it was something that was set to attack, that there would be nothing. We do not have the technology to keep up with that. So it was really more about that to understand it.
I wanted you to be God. You be God.
That's what. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I know we talked about this with a very interesting episode a couple episodes back with my friend Tim Lester, astrophysicist Tim. I know he wants to come back on and talk more about this.
He did work for the government in this somewhat capacity.
A very entertaining episode for anyone who has not heard. Definitely go back and listen to that one.
Absolutely. So we'll talk more about the hearing and get into more of the details and all that type of stuff. But one of the stories right now is, again, it's just some people are talking about this, but on social media, there's not a whole lot being said, and that itself
Barbie
is a story.
Out.
Well, but that's interesting though, right? So it's like
Barbie. Yes.
The consensus right now is that a lot of people on social media they acknowledge that this happened, so people are aware of it. But when you're thinking about that there could be real, UFO aircraft that the government has, and or non-human, remains, or some type of biological sampling or something like that, it just to think if this would happen years ago, certainly when I was a child, it would have been like ridiculous, nuts, crazy that this is going on. Obviously, an Area 51 craze, years ago, people trying to get into that, the government's hiding stuff. Nowadays, it's just like, I'm aware of it. It's interesting, but doesn't seem to be a lot of fear. So it's just there's a lot of amusing takes on this on the internet right now, on social media. So it's just kind of a strange time there. So is it, do you care? Or is it something to where are people just so worn down and jaded because of life and the normal struggles with economy and work and just trying to maintain some semblance of a happy life, that this type of thing really just doesn't even phase you? Are there too many other distractions? So, just real quick, any thoughts? Dean, go ahead. What do you think about us?
Let me explain it real quick in this order. If Nick, Brian, if you guys were going to open a restaurant, say the Brick Restaurant was going to open, and
your Cornerstone Tavern,
Tavern,
right. I like it.
So, if that's going to happen, are you guys going to just opening day? This is it. Let's go. Come in. Or would you do a soft opening?
I see.
Would you open a week earlier without telling anybody and just trickle, get things ready, feel things out?
They're still letting things out. The government is still letting things out to not flip everybody out.
And I'm not talking about this hearing. Since 1950, whatever, in Roswell, this has been a soft opening.
I see.
They have done propaganda through film, TV, books, all sorts of media. All the media has in the past 70 some years has been the soft opening. They have been preconditioning us for the grand opening.
Okay.
Because ultimately it's going to be inevitable. Because ultimately it won't be their decision.
Right.
When the big fucking thing comes down with fucking CNN's camera right on it, the government can no longer go, hold on, well, no. When the grand opening happens, they have no control. So the best they can do is a soft opening. And that's what we've been dealing with. My other opinion on it is that the government, in theory, right, in these whatever tinfoil hat theories, is that the government has known about this and has covered it up for 70 some years, correct? In these theories, okay?
Yep.
So
the craft they have are from when? I mean,
Roswell, 1950 something.
Yeah.
And others. There's many other stories of crash things. Fuck, Las Vegas, something landed. We covered it a couple weeks ago.
Right.
But if the government has known about it, fucking Eisenhower met with some aliens in these stories that are being told. If all of this is true, right? Why are these senators having a meeting and asking questions they should know the answers to? And in my theory on this is that this is appeasing the whistleblowers that are coming out, and that are appeasing the tinfoil hat people. If we have these hearings, everybody will go, oh, we got a little bit, we're happy, and the story fades. So they really don't have to divulge everything they know. They can give a little bit. People go, oh, so they do know something. We know this. We know, they give their opinions, but they don't know everything, and they're not going to tell us everything. This is putting fucking water on the lips of a dehydrated man right now.
Okay.
Those
Nick,
are
what do you think? That's good.
I was just going to say, in regards to the public lack of reaction or whatever, I think we kind of touched on it a couple weeks ago. I feel like the narrative has kind of changed over time, kind of alluding to what Dean said. But back in the day, you would talk about aliens, people thinking aliens exist and all this stuff, and it seemed kind of like this fucking crackpot thing. It was crazy, And I think as time has gone on, and as we learn more about the universe, we learn more about things that could be out there, and how ridiculous it actually kind of seems in theory to try to wrap your head around how vast and huge the universe is. The idea that we're the only life out there is that's silly in and of itself. So I think the narrative has kind of changed. So I think almost like the lack of react, like you said, when you were a little boy, if you had heard something like this come out, it would be like, holy shit, like people would be flipping out.
Yeah.
But the narrative around, other intelligent life in the galaxy, in the universe, whatever, was much different than it is now. Now I think we've come around and we've got so much information that it almost seems silly to not think that there's something. Yeah, we don't know exactly what it is. We don't know where it's from. We don't know what it's capable of, but it's got to be out there, right? So I think that's a big part of it. I do think there is a touch of, like life's just different. There's a lot of shit going on, and there's a billion fucking things that you could focus on. So people's attentions are getting pulled in all these different directions. But yeah, I think that's kind of a lot of it is like, I remember being a little kid, and if, somebody talked about aliens, it was, people would even kind of chuckle at them like it was silly, like people didn't, it certainly wasn't a popular thing to believe in aliens because it made you seem crazy. Well, anymore, that's just kind of not the narrative around it, at least not that I see. But Brian, what do you think about all that?
No, I agree with a lot of you guys' points. There's some belief I have.
Tim's
that
told you shit, hasn't he? You know stuff you can't tell us.
Oh no, that would be he can only say so much, but
he says it with his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
He also says "fuck me" with his eyes, but
there's a lot of
body.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things the government knows that they cannot release to the public. That if they did, it'd be national security risk or just other risks for other reasons. So
people go crazy.
I gotta believe that there's certainly more knowledge for sure that we know about right now, and
1,000%.
Yeah, but there certainly is. It does seem like trying to normalize it a little bit more with more footage coming out. With now these hearings coming out, those are other public hearings. Like you said, you could watch it on cable and live. They're not really hiding that type of stuff. And also some of it too, I think it's still too unbelievable. I think still, even though you're hearing more and more closer evidence to, really pay attention. They're saying that there's non-human, biological remains or something here. Again, what does that mean? I don't know. I'm not saying it's aliens, but that's a pretty big statement there. Now, again, it's one guy saying this. Is it really true? I don't know. Certainly, no one is really confirming in the government that yes, definitively, this is what we have.
Brian, you've had people. You've been having that guy. I used to work for government, and he's been on this History Channel show or this low budget documentary. You've had all these guys.
American Bigfoot.
Right. But this guy is in front of Congress, says something.
That's true. He's definitely got credentials, so I don't know.
But you got to think about it this way, guys, is that there's the experiment of if you give your dog a treat and then you ring the bell, ding. Every time you give him a treat, you ring a bell. You are conditioning him to now you ring the bell and he looks for the treat.
Mm-hmm.
That is what they've been doing to all of us. They've been ringing the bell forever. So it's no longer like a surprise thing.
Yeah.
We've been conditioned, like I said earlier, from movies and stuff. So of course all of us are going to go, oh, aliens? Thought so. And then move on with your life.
Right.
You could, like Brian said, you couldn't have done that in the 70s. They would have lost their fucking mind. Now, granted, people will lose their fucking mind when it is in their face, because religion, first of all, it will just blow apart religion and have to look at a way different idea of what religion is.
Yeah.
Sure. But other than that, people we've all been groomed for this slow rollout.
Yeah. I like this. Somebody had a viral video. We as a species have caused so much nonsense that the idea of extraterrestrials doesn't faze us.
Right.
And another woman said, are aliens going to fix inflation, cancel student debt, end worker exploitation, pay any of these bills, turn the temp down on the planet, and all around bring happiness to me and my friends' miserable lives? No? Then yeah, they can get TF. Yeah.
Right.
think that's a very good sentiment. I think
you
for a
ain't
lot
gonna
of people.
Absolutely.
you ain't gonna bring nothing crazier to the earth than Tiger King. All right, we've seen it all.
That's right.
We're not phased by this shit.
Yeah.
We were just run. Our country was just run by a fucking game show host. So whatever you got more than
Yeah.
that, we're cool. We've
It's
seen the
crazy,
fucking.
Yeah.
Even if
Yeah.
they could help us, you said like turn down the temperature. Like even if they could help us, like why the fuck would they? Like why? So you can just turn around and keep
No,
doing the
there's
same
been-
shit
I
because you'll
don't know
just
if
assume
this guy
somebody's
had
gonna
said
come
it
bail you out
here.
like always.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know if it said about it in those hearings, Nick, but there have been many situations. I'm pretty sure he had talked about it in these hearings. That these beings, spacecraft, whatever, has stopped nuclear things. Like they've flown over nuclear power plants, shut it down. So like it seems like that's one of their concerns is our and everybody's nuclear capability.
They're
So it
saying
is
like maybe the Oppenheimer movie is like what signaled them to come down.
right?
Look
at that.
That actually.
It's all connected.
More on this topic, so I'm sure we'll hear more in general, and we're going to talk more about this on future episodes. We'll get Tim back on here, astrophysicist Tim, to talk more about this topic with us. I know it's a very fascinating subject for all of us.
Astrophysicist. Can we call him Tim AF? Yes,
Sure.
I understand physicist starts with a P, but it's not as cool as AF.
It's not as cool as being illiterate. Illiteracy's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
We're idiots. That's the name of the goddamn podcast.
This is why they're taking their time. That's why they're taking their time. It's like this is too fucking easy. This is like a long weekend to take over the earth. It's a long weekend. It's easy.
Tim AF. I'm sticking with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Astrophysicist. How do you spell that? ASTROFIZIST.
Zist. Is the cyst.
Yeah.
Hey, did you like that video? You know you did, and we know you did. So stop screwing around and go like that video, subscribe to our channel, and join us for some more.
Ham gravy.